Here's where the Sydney conversation begins.
Drive with Emma Crow. 702 ABC Radio Sydney.
At 21 minutes to 4 today. Well, some interesting awards happening last night. The Tourism Awards took place and a Sydney organisation called Sydney for Kayak has won the For the Sea Award for visitor litter prevention. It's won it now for 3 years in a row. We'll talk to them in a moment, but let's have a talk about all of the awards in general. Natalie Godwood is the New South Wales Tourism Association CEO. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, Emma.
Yeah, I'm interesting talking about to these people that keep cleaning the sweep in their kayak business in a moment, but just outline the awards, what the different categories were, and some people who are doing some great stuff in tourism in this state.
Oh, there's lots of people doing great stuff in tourism in the state. So last night we had the New South Wales Tourism Awards, which is an annual event. We are the state awards, and all of the gold winners, including Sydney By Kayak. This is a different category, but all of the gold winners go through to national, so the Australian Tourism Awards, which are held in March next year. But 30 categories, so everything, every visitor experiences, accommodation, accessibility, there's so much. And, of course, the Take 3 for the Sea Litter Prevention Award with Sydney By Kayak is absolute. We know they're gold, but 3 years in a row makes them Hall of Fame.
It's interesting you've got this category, For the Sea Award for visitor litter prevention. How many people were in that field? Who are they competing against there?
There were 2 finalists in the Take. So Take 3 for the Sea is actually a business that we work with on this particular category. And it's just to remind people that, we've all got our part to play. We've all got our little bit. There were 2 finalists in the category and Sydney By Kayak came out at gold.
It's nice you're trying to acknowledge people who are doing the right thing by the environment. When looking at, you're the Tourism Association's CEO, and you talked about experiences. I think people are looking more and more for experiences when they travel, experiences with local people, trying local produce, getting out there, doing smaller tours, that kind of thing. Are you seeing a trend there?
Yeah, and you know what? It's an Aussie thing too, and just human beings that we love to experience all sorts of locations, regions, areas, businesses on a small scale, so we can really immerse ourselves in it and really understand it. And also, that's what we do well as Aussies, and of course, New South Welsh people, because we show off what we've got. We do it in our backyard every single day. We like to live that way, and we show our family and friends. So, from a visitor experience perspective, it's really just delivering what we kind of already do to our visitors, and it is that immersive. I think what people are looking for, Emma, is the immersive experience. I really want to get my teeth into this.
Yes, that's right. They want to cook something, pick the fruit, get their hands dirty. Yeah. How do you encourage people? New South Wales is such a big state, and Sydney's got so many of the great hits. How do you encourage tourists, especially those who are visiting from interstate or overseas, to see more of New South Wales?
We've just got to show them what we've got, because we've got such amazing experiences and accommodation providers across the whole state. And it's a massive state, right? So we know we've got a lot going on, but it's very, very diverse. We've got the mountains, the ocean, the outback. We've pretty much got everything here. So international visitors will always come to Sydney, and so they should. It's iconic. And then once they know what else we've got, it's just about awareness. A little bit further on, an hour, a couple of hours, go a little bit further, or a flight. You'll get to see some really, really unique experiences that you'll never get anywhere else in the world. Our locals pretty much know that, and they already do travel.
Yes.
It's just about getting the word out there.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's right. And Australians are often happy to drive quite long distances, especially those who live in more remote parts. I think nothing of driving 3-hour round trip to play some fixture of footy on the weekend, don't they? But I think it can be a shock to the overseas visitors just how far you've got to travel.
Oh, it is. Look, I'm driving 6 hours home today, so that'll just tell you that's what we do. We just get in the car and off we go. With the caravan, we take our families, and look, if you want to live like an Aussie local, it's what you do, isn't it?
If people, you're in, like I said, you're listening, by the way, to Natalie Godwood. She's New South Wales Tourism Association's CEO. The New South Wales Tourism Awards were held last night. It's the New South Wales part. It goes on to be a national event, a bit like your state and national athletics championships, I suppose, Natalie, something like that. You've got your state winners and they go on to the bigger thing. What about, people who are thinking about setting up a tourism business? Do you think that there's enough support there? Do we have too much red tape? People thinking, I've got something to offer and I'd like to make it happen.
I do. There's absolutely a lot of support there. Of course, there's red tape. There's red tape in everything. We can't avoid it. And also it's there, to keep us safe. Obviously, it's not always great, but we have lots of support in New South Wales. Our organisation is a member-based association. We run an accreditation that is Australia-wide. All the tourism industry councils run it, so we can support you there. And Destination New South Wales is a fantastic supporter of existing and new businesses. And people want things to do. So there's always opportunity to put something, especially if you've got a unique idea, throw it out there, give it a go. A lot of our tourism businesses already have other jobs and start other businesses, and then they go into this because it's tough right now. So you've got to give it a go. And then as they realise that people really like the experience or visitors want more, and they kind of move into it. And I guess that's how you go anyway with everything you start that's new.
I think the Sydney By Kayak, I'm going to talk to Laura Stone from Sydney By Kayak in just a moment. But are you seeing a trend for what people are looking for in tourism experiences, you know, in terms of activities? Do you see a gap in the market where someone smart could start something up?
Yeah, there's definitely. Well, look, we've got some amazing things going on. Sydney by Kayak is a really good example. It's an adventure activity. It's outdoors on our stunning harbour. It's completely sustainable and environmentally aware. So they've ticked a whole bunch of boxes there in that moment. And if you just think about that, there are still gaps because you just think about what we all like to do on our weekends every day with our family and friends. We like to be outdoors. We like to experience nature. We like to experience what we have in our beautiful backyard in New South Wales. So anybody that can bring that to visitors like Sydney by Kayak is always going to have a good opportunity to do well.
Thanks for joining us today, Natalie. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Natalie Godwood's the New South Wales Tourism Association's CEO. She's talking about Sydney by Kayak because they've taken out the Take 3 for the Sea Award for visitor litter prevention 3 years in a row now. And Laura Stone is from Sydney by Kayak. She's been in the kayak today, actually. Hi, Laura.
Hello, how are you going?
Great, thanks. Congratulations. What a great thing to be winning this 3 years in a row.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
When did your family start Sydney by Kayak?
So we started 12 and a half years ago in 2013.
And what made you realise that people wanted to do this, get out on small kayak tours on the harbour?
So it was a bit of a natural journey. I started as a personal trainer and massage therapist. I was running outdoor personal training sessions down in Lavender Bay, and I looked across the harbour every day and realised that I wanted to be out there. And so I spent 9 months getting qualified as a kayak instructor, and then I launched some kayak fitness classes. And naturally that went from kayak fitness and personal training on the water to drinking coffee because it was at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then all of my regular paddlers were asking me to get coffee for them as well. And then before I knew it, I was sitting out in the harbour with all of my fitness paddlers, not really doing any fitness. We were just kind of sitting there drinking coffee and enjoying the sunrise. So I had a little bit of a light bulb moment and I thought, I don't think this is a fitness class. I think this is a tourism product. And yeah.
I just love this. I love this idea. I've walked past that area. I know exactly the area you're talking about on Lavender Bay there. It's sort of below Wendy Whiteley's garden. And
Yes,
you walk along and I've seen people
a week. So I don't have to be. I've got an incredible team and a wonderful husband who also runs the business with me, but I love it so much. Sometimes I'm not even rostered, but I'll wake up early and be like, yeah, I think I'm going to go and grab a kayak and jump on the tour today.
What's the most amazing thing you've seen while kayaking?
We have seen some really stunning sunrises. We have seen dolphins on the harbour. I'm yet to see one of those whales. We've heard about the whales in the harbour. I'm yet to see one of those myself. We a week. So I don't have to be. I've got an incredible team and a wonderful husband who also runs the business with me, but I love it so much. Sometimes I'm not even rostered, but I'll wake up early and be like, yeah, I think I'm going to go and grab a kayak and jump on the tour today.
What's the most amazing thing you've seen while kayaking?
We have seen some really stunning sunrises. We have seen dolphins on the harbour. I'm yet to see one of those whales. We've heard about the whales in the harbour. I'm yet to see one of those myself. We've seen seals quite a number of times. We've got a number of eco projects that we funded, and quite often we'll see an improvement in biodiversity because of those. And so it's just really nice when we're out there sometimes seeing the white-faced heron or the Australian darter birds or a new marine creature. Actually, 6 days after our Living Seawall boulders were installed, the team were really excited about a snail that was on one of them. So the boulders are an artificial marine habitat, and they were a $30,000 investment from us. And so when we found a snail had just moved into one of the rock pools, we were like, oh my gosh, there's a snail. And on this one day, we had the Brekkie TV show from New Zealand on the tour. And we were all talking about this snail on this rock. And everyone was like, what is it? And I'm like, I'm going to have to explain before I tell you.
That's wonderful. And with this, the award that you've gotten here for the litter prevention, can you explain a little bit about your ethos there?
Yes, definitely. So about 9 years ago, when I was pregnant with my son, I was running a kayak and boxing class, and I kayaked to a small beach where I did the boxing class, and there was a lot of rubbish on the beach, and everyone that I was paddling with was really overwhelmed. Apart from this one girl who was like, we don't have to pick up all of it. Why don't we all just take 3 for the sea? And this was about 9 years ago. And I was like, what is that? And she explained it to me. And I was like, that is brilliant. Every time we use this beach, this waterway, go kayaking, I'm going to encourage everyone just to pick up 3 pieces of rubbish. And what you find is people won't just pick up the 3. They'll break through that barrier and they will pick up 6, 9, 12, a bucket. And before you know it, the beach is clean and it's taken you 5 or 10 minutes. And it makes such a huge difference. That lady's name was Sian Davis, and I have remembered that for years. And that was a turning point for me. Every time I use a waterway, I pick up some rubbish. Every time I go down to the beach in the morning, the team just do a 5-minute beach clean. We pick up a bucket, we pick up all the rubbish, and then we set up for our morning tours. Then we had lots of corporate groups asking to come out with us, and we were like, why don't we do dedicated cleanup days so that if you don't want to pick up rubbish, come on one of our other tours, and there's no pressure. But if you want to come out and help the environment, we can pick up rubbish together with our buckets and make that a dedicated activity. We had the Sea Life Trust and the Sea Life Aquarium come out with us back in 2018, and I got talking to them about a sea bin, which is basically like a unit that sits in the water and filters the water and helps to remove the rubbish. And they said, we're going to sponsor one in Living Harbour underneath the aquarium. And I said, I want to be involved in that. I'm going to contribute $15 from every seat that we sell on all of our corporate cleanup paddles and all of our eco tours, and I'm going to help you raise the money for that. And so in 2019, we sponsored our very first sea bin, our first eco project. And since then, up until June this year, we picked up just over 40,000 kilograms of rubbish collectively via the sea bin and via our corporate cleanup paddlers and all of our morning beach cleans. And yeah, it's been a journey. When I think about how much rubbish that is, it's insane. And $74,920 is what we have raised so far for local conservation projects.
Well, congratulations on getting this award 3 years in a row. Good luck in the national finals you get to go to that as well. Laura, it's really lovely to meet you and hear a bit more about it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Laura Stone from Sydney By Kayak. And Sydney By Kayak has won the Take 3 for the Sea award for visitor litter prevention 3 years in a row now. We're talking about your big, small moment. I love this text. Thank you from Kat in Thirroul, 0467 922 702. Kat says, my big, small moment was when I played the curtain in a play. How awesome is that? That's from Kat. Thanks very much. And here's another fantastic one. I sang a whole extra chorus of On Top of the World